Sit closer to the fire, closer than you think is safe. Some stories are not meant to be told. They wait for night. They wait for the lone traveler, the careless child, the woman who laughs too freely. If you hear a baby crying in the mangroves, do not follow it. If you smell flowers blooming where none should grow, turn away. Because once the Pontianak finds you, the night will not let you go. Some who ignored her cries were never seen again. You may not believe this. That is what makes it dangerous. In the villages near the mangrove swamps, people move quietly after sunset. Doors are bolted, windows left half closed. No whistling, no calling names. Old women leave bowls of water beneath beds. Iron nails hang above door frames. Thorned branches are planted near the houses, not for animals, but to remind and to protect from the Pontianak. Whispers tell of a pale woman drifting near the river, long black hair trailing behind her, a soft cry following her wherever she goes. No one dares to call her name aloud. Her name was Sari. At least, that is what people whispered after. She lived in a small wooden house on the edge of the river, where the water moved slowly and the air never cooled. Sari laughed easily once. She sang while washing clothes, her voice rising above the insects. She touched her swollen belly without fear when her unborn child kicked. Her husband was away, trading upriver. He promised to return before the rains, but promises mean little when the forest has its own plans. The village children stared at her sometimes, pointing at her belly, whispering, "She will give life," and sometimes death follows. Sari ignored the whispers. She boiled water, washed linen, swept the floor. But at night, she felt it, a cold pressure against her chest, as if unseen eyes followed her. Dogs growled at shadows. The river seemed louder at night. Branches scratched windows without wind. The midwives muttered prayers, not for Sari, for what she might become. The Pontianak she could turn into if the night claimed her. The pains began as the river swelled. Mud blocked the path to the village. Sari sent a boy for help. He never returned. By morning, the house was eerily silent, and the river flowed as if nothing had happened. No one knows exactly what happened inside Sari's house. Some say she gave birth alone, clutching the floorboards as the child entered the world. Its first cry was swallowed by the walls, and then silence. Others whisper she did not survive. Her soul left her body, twisting into something unnatural, something no longer fully human, something the villagers would come to fear as the Pontianak. The smell lingered, heavy and sweet, like crushed flowers baking in the sun, and underneath, something metallic, sharp, unrelenting. By the third night, the riverbank tree outside her home bloomed out of season. Dark flowers dripping dew that smelled faintly of iron and sorrow. The fisherman was the first to see her. Old, cautious, knowing the river better than anyone. He followed the sound of a baby crying, thinking it might be a child in need. He never returned. His net was found tangled in the roots, hands gripping mud, pale and stiff, and the tree above him swayed, though the night held no wind. Some say the flowers danced, mocking him. Afterward, More incidents spread through the village. Children vanished from their beds. Villagers claimed to see a pale woman drifting, hair black as night, face hollow and sorrowful. They whispered her name, Pontianak, a curse and a warning all at once. No one could agree on what she truly was, but fear grew, thick as the mangrove fog. The crying grew louder each night, soft, then sharp, then insistent. Men walking alone felt invisible fingers brush their necks. Dogs refused to cross paths. Even the river seemed hesitant at bends, as though it too feared the Pontianak. Women carried needles in their hair, not for fashion, but protection. Children slept under heavy blankets, listening for sounds that should not exist. And the laughter came. Low, female, delicate, terrifying. Circling homes, lingering in doorways, vanishing only when the firelight flickered. Some claimed they saw her reflection in water, a pale face where their own should be. Others swore they glimpsed her shadow behind them, even when no one was there. Whispers spread. Do not call her name. Do not answer the cries. Do not look too long at water at night. But the Pontianak's presence continued. A man ignoring the warning was found crouched in mud, staring at his reflection as if seeing something else, something that had taken his eyes without touch. The river carried her whispers far. Even travelers who had never entered the village spoke of sudden chills and infant cries on the wind. By the fourth week, no one could pretend it was only a story. The Pontianak was seen clearly now. Long black hair, tangled and dripping, hung around a pale, hollow face. Her eyes glimmered faintly in the dark, unblinking, unrelenting. Some villagers claimed she floated above the ground. Others swore she crawled along walls and ceilings, always at the edge of their vision. Her presence brought cold, and the air smelled of rotting flowers mixed with iron. The cries of her lost child followed her wherever she went, not always from the same place, sometimes from the river, sometimes from inside homes, never answering the calls of those who dared to listen. It was not only children who suffered. Men who ignored warnings were found frozen, pale, staring at shadows that did not belong. The midwives stopped visiting at night. Even the bravest fishermen avoided the riverbank. Villagers left offerings of flowers and water outside their doors, hoping to distract her, or remind her of what she once was. Dogs barked at nothing. Women woke to footprints on wet floors leading from doors to the river. No footprints returned. A young girl disappeared while fetching water. Her mother screamed into the night, but the only reply came in soft laughter, floating through the trees. Fear spread quietly, but everywhere. No one gathered around fires. Speech became whispers. Doors stayed shut all day, all night. Elders performed rituals in their homes. They burned herbs, tied iron nails above windows and doors. They whispered her name in private, Pontianak, as if saying it aloud could summon her. Some tried to leave the village. Few returned. Those who did were silent, eyes distant, always glancing at the mangroves. Even strangers passing by reported seeing her, hovering near the river, long hair trailing like water, child's cries carried on the wind. No one who saw her spoke for long. Those who did were never the same again. The tree outside her house grew strange. Flowers fell without wilting. Roots pushed through soil like fingers searching. Children refused to sleep. Mothers listened for breaths that were not theirs. Fathers left offerings on the riverbank, rice, flowers, water, hoping to appease the Pontianak, to feed her restless hunger with symbols, so she would leave them alone. Some nights, travelers passing through felt eyes on them, a cold hand brushing their necks. A whisper, "She remembers." And sometimes, someone swore they saw Sari's face reflected in water, eyes hollow, lips moving silently, her name spoken in the currents. Pontianak. By this time, the village trembled at night. No one walked alone. No one sang. Even the river seemed to hold its breath, waiting. A mother swore she saw the Pontianak at her doorway, long black hair trailing across the threshold, hollow eyes fixed on her child. The mother froze, unable to speak. When she blinked, the Pontianak had vanished, but the crying followed. Inside the house, soft and pleading, the child's bed was empty. Another night, 2 men returning from the market heard footsteps behind them in the mud. They turned. No one was there. Only the Pontianak's laughter, low and cruel, circling them like smoke, until they collapsed in terror, hands clutching their ears, eyes wide with unspeakable fear. The villagers began marking their homes with symbols: iron nails, charcoal, bunches of herbs, not to trap her, not to fight her, but to remind her of what she had lost, and perhaps to remind themselves of hope. Fear became ritual. Even the bravest refused to speak aloud her name. They whispered names of the dead, prayed quietly, and left offerings by the river, hoping to distract the Pontianak, to feed her restless hunger with symbols, so she would leave them alone. Some tried to flee. Paths disappeared overnight. Bridges collapsed. The mangroves swallowed footprints. Stories spread beyond the village. Travelers spoke of a pale woman floating above the river at midnight, hair dripping like dark water. Child's cries carried on the wind. No one who saw her spoke for long. Those who did were never the same again. Even years later, the riverbank remained unchanged. The trees still bloomed in impossible seasons. Roots pushed through soil like searching fingers. Children avoided it. Dogs refused the path at night. Women whispered to their daughters, "Do not follow the crying. Do not answer her voice. Do not call her name." And still, some nights, a traveler passing through hears a lullaby floating from the mangroves. Soft, sweet, terrifying, and knows it belongs to the Pontianak. Sit closer to the fire, closer than you think is safe. Do you hear it? A cry on the wind, faint, insistent. The Pontianak drifts still, neither living nor gone, a shadow at the edge of vision, a whisper behind your shoulder, a smell of flowers, sweet and heavy, mixed with something darker, iron and river mud. The villagers learned too late that ignoring her voice does not save you. You cannot outrun her. She waits, patient. She remembers. Even now, Travellers passing the mangroves speak of shadows moving across the water. The riverbank tree blooms in impossible seasons. Roots push through soil like searching fingers. Mothers whisper to their children, "Do not follow the crying. Do not answer her voice. Do not call her name." Because some things do not forgive. Some things do not forget. The fire is dying, and the stories linger, except the ones that find you.